So we're gonna, the topic at hand is, get my thingy out of the way. 2020 post-tax season mastermind, how to increase your income, catapult your cash flow and stand out in these challenging time. I am super excited. This is gonna be incredible. This hour is gonna flow by because I've got some good content I wanna share with you, some stuff that's really very relevant with where we are at now, finishing one of the longest tech seasons any one of us has ever had, and it was very different, very unique, very long. It was a marathon, and how to position yourself for an incredible rest of the year. So, what brings you here? What are you most excited to get out of this session? And so I want you to kind of and use the chat box, folks, instead of the Q&A. I'll be looking at more the chat than the Q&A stuff. So I want this to be interactive. And the reason is because you are going to get a whole lot more when we are engaged in a two-way dialogue than than it being a monologue, right? So I want us to really have a conversation. So when I ask a question, that means you respond back very promptly, and keep away kind of all the distractions and so forth, because you will get a lot from the time we have. It's going to go by fast, and you will get some really awesome, cool ideas that are going to be useful to you. So what would you like to get from today? 1, 2 things that come in your mind. If I had a magic wand, what would those 1 or 2 things be for you where you're at? What are the things that you think about, you're not sure about? And I want you to type that in. Take a few seconds and type that in. What are you most excited to get out of this session? What's intriguing for you? What would you like to learn? What challenges have you experienced or are experiencing and you'd like to solve them? Or what aspirations do you have? What are your dreams and goals, things that you aspire to? And you're like, man, how can I get there in a faster, easier way? All right, folks, it's gonna be, I'm gonna give you guys a few more seconds. No reason not to share and type. If you've taken the time to be here on this call, I'm gonna challenge you all along, because asking the question is going to push you. It's gonna get you out to think about things. It's part of the learning. It's part of the experience, right? Not only the content I'm going to share, but what I'm going to force you to do in a good way, hopefully, to get out of your comfort zone, to think and to think about things you may not be thinking about, or things that are in the back of your mind. I want to bring them to the forefront, because when we bring them to the forefront, these questions, these problems become very clear to us what that problem is. And once we know what a problem is and it's clear to us, guess what? We can solve it. But if we're not clear on what the problem is, then tough to solve it, right? Cool. Sonia says, hello, Salim, revisiting what your coaching looks like with the changes because of COVID-19. Cool. Not going to really talk about coaching, but I'll give you an opportunity to schedule a one-on-one, Sonia, so we can have that conversation if it still makes sense for you, and I'll share with you the criteria later on. Hey, Joe, saying, how do we get clients to not procrastinate and bring in their records? Cool. That's an easy one, man. We're gonna talk about that. I can answer that right away, man. And Joe, then you don't have to hang out if that's all you wanted from today. But no, I'm just kidding. I want you to hang out. It's follow-up. You do what you can in terms of, bringing in the urgency of the benefits. If they bring in early, you have time to work on it. You've got time to consult with them and so forth. So bring in the benefits, the value, how it's more valuable, beneficial for the client when they bring in that information. So be relentless in the communication email, phone calls, one of your teammates doing it, and all along making it cordial, but bringing in a sense of urgency. Yeah. Cool. So we've got a number of you here, and no one else has shared. So that kind of makes me a little worried. What are you most excited to get out of this session? And we don't have much. So folks, it's gonna change. We've got to play this game in a different and better way. I want you, this has got to be interactive. Otherwise, it's gonna be no joy for me to do this, to share with you stuff that I'm thinking about that's going to be helpful to you and so forth, right? So I really need you to kind of be thinking be present here with me. No other emails or phone calls, phones or social media or any of that. Just kind of stay with me here and be as interactive as you can. Is that good for everyone? So kind of type in yes, you're good with what I just said, that you can be interactive. I'm looking for people that are interactive in this session. Otherwise, I'm going to drop you from this call, from this webinar, and you'll be on your own. So I want this to be valuable to you. And the only way to make it valuable is to have a two-way dialogue, right? So folks, the question is, can you be interactive? Type a yes if you can, or a no if you cannot. Yeses, 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 coming in, bring them in, bring them in. If you can be interactive, say yes. If not, say a no, and then I know who's going to play this game with me and who's not. All right, awesome, cool, beautiful, good. You guys are awesome. Thanks. And cool. Let's move on because I am like super pumped. There's a lot to cover and a lot of value for you to get from today. So why is building a post-tax season plan very important? I will cover this. We'll skip through that. Why is a post-tax season plan really important? Because, I mean, you know, you've gone through 6 months of a very challenging, trying time, you know, with your clients, with things that have happened in your own personal life with the pandemic and readjusting and working virtually and so forth. Now we need to get ready. Yeah, went through a race, and we need to huddle and strategize of what the next 6 months should look like, so that they are the best they're really good 6 months. They're effective 6 months. You get what you want. And so I'm approaching this to equip you with that. And but I want to kind of get a sense of the room in terms of what was your biggest challenge this past tax season. So I've kind of got some A, B, and C. You know, A is your team was not all in. Second is you had pushback on fees. And so type in A, or B, or C, you didn't bring in enough new well-paying clients, or you worked long and it was stressful, all of it, or one of it, or perhaps it's nothing here, and you can type in your answers. I want to get a sense of what that looked like for you. What was your biggest challenge this past tax season? This is awesome. What is D, Sonia? Long hours and stress. Got it. Adriano saying lack of new well-paying clients. Joe, lack of new well-paying clients. Randy, long hours and stress. John, C, lack of new well-paying clients, long hours and stress. Got it. Awesome. Yep. Cool. And really, what's important is not where you've been, it's where you want to go, and it's good to acknowledge challenges so that we can solve them, right? But it doesn't end there. So I'm going to my mindset is Good, got it. Thank you. And now let's talk about, the solution. So three things I want to cover. On the team, we'll talk about team stuff. We'll talk about streamlining the operation, and I'll share with you client attraction, my latest stuff when it comes to all these three areas. When it comes to, all right, you guys know my story. You've been on my list. You've interacted with me. So you can read this for yourself. I won't say it, but I started my practice 24 years back, struggled the first 5 years, went into a lot of debt. Things were not working out for me. I realized I was working as an accountant. I was approaching my business, my practice as an accountant, not as an entrepreneur. And I was working way too hard in my practice. My turning point is Michael Gerber back in 1999, read the E-Myth Revisited, and that started a 10-year journey with me. Interestingly enough, that 10 years was very transformational for me. The first few years were very transformational for me, but I didn't stop there. It became a habit for me to study and seek out what's working. And things change, right? Things don't stay static. Just because things worked number of years back won't continue to work. So as entrepreneurs, we've gotta be changing with the times. And so, in my case, it's been a 24-year journey, to be frank with you. To this day, I've got 3 coaches that I work with. I invest 40 to 60K a year in my own development, in my own growth through books, courses, more importantly, coaches, masterminds, and that's been transformational for me. I'm going through a 4-day program now, as part of one of my groups. So yesterday from 6 to 10 p.m. It was all done virtually, but it was pretty incredible. With 7-figure businesses there, 8-figure businesses there, 9-figure businesses that I'm masterminding with. So it's incredible. And anything I share with you today, folks, it's not to impress you, because that does me no good. It does you no good, but it's to impress upon you. There's learning in everything, right? In my own personal experiences in life, and how passionate I am about wanting to learn and grow. I think as entrepreneurs, we need to have that. This morning I was listening to a podcast and they were using the word burning desire. And if you read the book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, right? He talks about, I think one of the first things he talks about is having that burning desire. Because having that burning desire, you will find solutions. You will find a way to work around it. Things don't become obstacle. Sure, there's problems, there's obstacles, but when you've got that burning desire, you're going to find a way around it. You're going to find a way to work through it. And that is the difference between those that succeed and those that don't. Yesterday, in the event that I attended, one of the presenters in a breakout session was somebody who sold his company 3 years back for 32 million and started another company, and he's brought it to 40 million. And you could just see his mindset. My goodness, the cutting through obstacles and the focus and the certainty of how much he wants to, for him to go through. He's financially independent, but he does it to, he's got his own purpose, right? Where he gets his burning desire. And I think we've got to find it for ourselves. Where do we get our burning desire? Because that's so important. You live life in a much different way, in an excited way, in a passionate way, when you've got that burning desire. Otherwise it's monotone, it's lifeless, it's going through day by day and week by week. And I don't know, that doesn't personally excite me. I need growth, and I need change, and I need excitement, and I need impact, and I want things to be meaningful. And that becomes a life that, that's the life that I enjoy. And that's kind of the journey that I've been on. Started with Michael Gerber back in '99 when it came to my business, and it's been an incredible journey. I've got my own firm in New Jersey. It's called a Lifestyle Practices. The word you see there. Second last line is lifestyle practice. And one of my coaching members last week, Neil Denman, he's a partner in a practice in Arkansas. He says, Salim, how do you run a practice that's like in New Jersey? I'm here in Florida for the last 4.5 months. And it's with some of what I'm going to be sharing with you, to create your own lifestyle practice. So the genius model, I'll quickly go over this and then we'll do a deeper dive into the three areas when it comes to this. But, owning an accounting practice is challenging. Being a business owner, owning any type of business is challenging. Wouldn't you agree with me? Whether it is an accounting practice or it's an HVAC company or whatever, a dental practice. And in the accounting industry, we have our own sets of challenges where finding people to work, good people, dedicated, motivated people is difficult, more and more difficult. Finding good clients is challenging and becoming more and more difficult, and so forth. Not enough hours in the day, and fee pressure and so forth. So difficult journey. And despite this, I believe that the accounting industry or the accounting business is the best one to be in because of these reasons. And all these are lessons, life lessons here, or business lessons here, right? When we turn them around, it becomes a lucrative business to own. So with the accounting practice, it's scalable, right? You can scale it with the right systems and the right team. Scalable meaning you can grow it without you spending more time in it. You see, that's kind of the barrier I see for most. They get to 400, 600, a million, 1.2, whatever, 1.5, and then that is it. How about creating, with the right systems and processes, you can create that scalable thing. So it's possible having the right systems and the right team. Not the yellow, I guess I'll go to the right, top right. Technology for speed and efficiency. Hey, no shortage of technology, affordable technology to help us when it comes to doing things in a faster and more efficient way. I came from a time when we used to have ledger sheets and so forth, and it's changed in a massive way. Third thing, accounting, tax, business help services. What we provide, they are a staple. They're always going to be needed. Your practice can be run from anywhere. Case in point is myself living here in Florida near the beach, having a practice in Jersey. Profits from 40 to 60%, and take-home pay can be pretty awesome. $500,000, $1 million, and over. So many different reasons, right? Why I believe that the accounting industry, the accounting business, accounting firm is an amazing business to own. So the Genius framework, from working with my own practice, using my own practice as a lab, testing different things, or what's working, what's not, bringing it from different industries, applying it to my own practice. And now for the last 11.5 years or so, working with other practice owners from across North America and helping them implement the Genius model. So the Genius model has 3 pillars, 3 areas that you want to pay attention to, right? If you want to create a lifestyle practice that gives you the freedom, most practice owners that I speak to, they want freedom. That's the reason they created their practice for the most part. They want to be their own boss, and they want to have, they want to, have the maximum income. They want to earn the true potential, earning potential. They want to make a difference to the people that they serve, the people that they interact with. So if you want to have a lifestyle practice with these 3 things, you want to pay attention to client attraction, championship team, streamline operation. And then the outside layer is what I call the 9 practice accelerators. And recently added the 10th one, which is mindset. So I've got 10 like practice accelerators that you want to install and implement in your practice, right? So you'll notice, so for client attraction, it's three areas. For streamline, it's 3 areas. And then for championship team, it's 3 areas. And I'll do a deeper dive in each of these 3 areas, and I'll pick a couple to share several gems with you on that. Now, in your practice, which are the areas that you look at this and you see, and you look at the 9 practice accelerators and you say, you know what, that's my weak area, and that's my red. So in which area do you have more red circles? When you look at client attraction and championship team, streamline operation, I'm asking here you to really self-assess yourself. No right or wrong answer. It's what's right, what is the right answer for you, right? It's your honest assessment of what it is for you. So take a moment and type in A, B, C, or D. In which areas do you have more red circles? And I need to go back a slide. So folks, please send your stuff in the chat thing, not in the Q&A, because I am not going to be looking at the Q&A. Ray, I see your answers there. So thanks for playing along and that. But yeah, if you don't mind, please go to the chat thing and I'll stay there so I can read your responses. Filling up the pipeline, client attraction, streamline operation, client attraction, and streamline operation. Got it. Filling up the pipeline and billing authority. Okay, so client attraction for you, pipeline, client attraction. Cool. Rest of you, take a moment, make sure you kind of don't miss out on this opportunity. This is a great self-assessment for yourself. In which areas do you have more red circle, meaning things you're stuck in, right? And the yellow is things that are in between, and then green are things that are doing great. Yeah, things that are doing great. So where are you stuck in? So I've heard, I mean, I kind of saw answers in all three areas. Client attraction, I saw stuff in streamline operation. I've seen stuff here from your responses in championship team as well. All right, let's move on then. Let us do that. Now, when you look at this framework and when you implement these 9 areas, what you get is, when it's done right, when you take care of that, when you do that, you're going to be in control of your practice. You're going to be able to grow it, and you're going to enjoy your practice. And the case study that I had that I wanted to share with you is Danny. Started his practice 6 years or so back. A couple of years into it, he was stuck in a plateau, a glass ceiling. He was stuck at 320K, could not grow. Personal life, personal situation took a beating because of that, through a divorce and so forth. And it's like, man, I remember our first meeting, the first time that I met Denny. It's like, man, I want to break out of this situation, but I cannot see myself growing because I don't have a scalable practice, right? It's too much dependent on me. Can anyone identify themselves in that situation when you're so dependent, when things are so dependent on you, you're like the central person in that practice, and that practice cannot grow much, cannot grow far, because there's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much head energy and so forth that one can, one has, in the course of a day. And so this is kind of where Danny was at. Wanted to grow, and is aspiring to, to do bigger and better things. So met him, and then this is kind of where he, in 2008 started, working together, or 2019 we started working together. I said 18. Did increase his business 1 year, 190K, reduced his hours during tech season. So one of the things that people start, that I saw with him, and what I've seen with others that I work with, is they'll make their practice scalable through their team and through streamlining their operation. So you work lesser hours, and that brings up more capacity, right? To want to be able to grow. His profits went up 45%. Denny's an incredible CPA practitioner. Bought his own building last year. He's in Morgantown, West Virginia. He's a coaching member for several years now, doing incredible things. An athlete as well. So got remarried. So just like all along, things are going amazingly well for Danny. And it's really putting the genius model into implementing it into his practice. All right, so first thing I want to share with you is team. Before we go there, I want to bring this conversation back to you. What has been most impactful for you so far? What are you resonating with? What's making sense for you? What ahas have you had in our conversation so far? Take a few seconds, type that in. How is this relevant for you? What are you seeing? How are you connecting the dots for yourself in your practice? How does any of what I've shared so far, how is that relevant to you? Give you guys a few more seconds. What light bulbs are going on in your head? Ahas, observations, reminders, things you're saying, yeah, that makes sense. Or that doesn't make sense. Or I need to do this. Or I need to pay more attention to this. All right, folks, come on, come on, come on. What have you connected with? And then I want to share the responses because I feel it's really very instructive learning from others, because sometimes I'll miss it, right? Yesterday, case in point, I'm in this session called the Mastermind Focuser. It's a group of 4 breakout room. And I had made my notes of what I wanted to get from the 3-day intensive that I'm part of. And there were others in the room, right, in that breakout room, and they were sharing, and I started like filling up my journal with, I ended up with like 7 things. You know, I had like 4 things that I started with on my own, right? And then others in the breakout room, they were sharing what they wanted. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, man. I want to learn how to do that, and so forth. So I ended up with like 7. It's right here. Got them right written right here. Uh, So what about the rest of you, man? You guys are the shakers, the leaders and the shakers in the business community. And I'm raising the bar. I want everyone to play this game at a higher level than you typically may be comfortable doing. Yeah. Because your clients are relying on you, your team members are relying on you to be the head coach, the head mentor, the chief executive officer, of your organization. And so you want to be thinking like an entrepreneur, and you want to be, 30 minutes into it. And if light bulbs are not going off and you're not getting excited about this stuff, that's a problem. That can be a problem. Because then you're playing the role of an employee in your organization. And your organization, your firm needs a CEO. It needs the person who's going to be driving the bus. Yeah, so I'm kind of, I know I'm being very brash here, but that's what I want you, I want the best for you. So, all right, cool. So, Randy, thank you. Need clarity in business? In business, my model. Got it. Cool. Sonia saying, need to follow the diagram you showed to keep in the forefront daily. Awesome. Yeah. Joe saying, using your genius model and determining what to focus on initially. Cool. We'll talk more about that as we proceed on. Michael saying, better hiring of staff. Awesome. Good. And hopefully that triggers ideas for you. And those that did not play this round, I ask you to don't multitask and to come back to this and be present and to interact. When I ask you a question, I want you to be interactive so that not only for yourself, but to share your thoughts with others so that everyone benefits from it. All right, let's move on. So team. The reason I started with team, together everyone achieves more, is this reason here. And I know this slide is very blurry, but it's got an important message, and it's a message from a book called Good to Great, an international bestseller. And he starts off that book, chapter 1, with the team, getting the right people on the bus. And here's what he says. In fact, leaders of companies that go from good to great start not with where, but with who. They start by getting the right people on the bus, the wrong people off the bus, and the right people in the right seats. That says a lot. Getting the right people on the bus, bring in the right people, the wrong people off the bus. If you've got wrong people on the bus, we need to get them off. And we need to get this right people in the right seats, because if we give them, we give a good person, if we give a right person a wrong seat, they'll never excel, right? So we need to put them in the right seat. So in any organization, you can look at it as these roles. This is an org chart that I pulled from the book called Traction, Wickman. And so he writes, he shares the visionary. It's, the person, the CEO, the chief executive officer, and the integrator is the chief operating officer, right? So the visionary is the one with the ideas, the one that's, that's the Steve Jobs, that's thinking of, solutions, big ideas. Where do you, the vision, right? Where do you want the business to be 5 years, 10 years, and so forth down the road? And then the integrator is the one that runs the show, manages it. All likelihood, you're playing the role of visionary and integrator, two together. And that's okay, right? But the integrator leads, manages, holds people accountable, has a plan, removes obstacles, special projects. And then you've got essentially like 3 areas, or maybe in some organizations, there's 4 areas. Whatever names you give them is fine. Not all that important, but essentially there's 3 different departments, right? Sales and marketing is bringing in clients, client attraction. Operations is how are we going to get the work done profitably? So it's operations. And then finance is the internal behind the scenes, right? The behind the scenes stuff, AR, AP, HR, IT, and so forth. So kind of an org chart here of an organization. So we need to get the right people on, the wrong people off, and the right people in the right seat. So for yourself, right? For yourself, you want to make sure that that is the case. You're playing the role of visionary integrator, right? The person with the vision, that's you. The person who's running the day to day, making sure things are going well, that can be you. You don't have to be the one doing the work, the technical aspect of doing the work. So in operations, you've got people that are doing the work, or in sales and marketing, you can have a marketing assistant. In finance, you can have uh, your receptionist, your admin assistant, your office manager, your firm administrator. So these are all like, people that belong in that finance department. So you want to be meeting with your team on a regular basis, weekly. Schedule meeting on a weekly basis. That's the second one right here. The weekly meetings right under daily huddles is weekly meetings. One of the most important things that I can say to you that you want to be doing when it comes to creating a communication platform. So the communication platform enables you to get a pulse on how the organization is, how the people are, how your team is. And when you have a communication platform and you're meeting with your team on a regular basis through weekly meetings and one-on-ones and so forth, and you've got goals, firm goals set, you've got individual team member goals set, you've got accountability in place. And when you're having that regular interaction, you are going to find out very soon, very quickly, who needs to stay in the bus and who needs to get off the bus. And so that's what you are doing. That's your role here as the integrator. You lead, manage, bring up, hold people accountable, right? That's what you do. And you cannot do that function of an integrator, near impossible, if you are not meeting with your team on a regular basis and having healthy meetings with your team, right? And so having a communication platform is super critical. And you would be the first one in there, one of the first ones who are showing up for these meetings. You don't have to be the one leading the meeting, but you not need to show up at these meetings and be an important player in these meetings. Giving feedback, communicating, sharing with the team what the vision is, what your goals are, what the purpose is. Because if you don't do that, then it becomes people are coming in to get a paycheck. And there's not much any organization can do when that's the mindset of people coming to get a paycheck. It's tough to build an incredible, extraordinary organization when people are coming for their paycheck, right? So if you want people that are all in, then, and you do want people that are all in, because that's how you're going to get to your vision. Cannot be all done by yourself, right? So it's going to be your own leadership. Your own leadership is something that's under, that you want to look at, right? Your own leadership during meetings. And when I've got coaching members and working with them, they kind of start becoming very aware of how they are showing up during these meetings, and what they're saying and how they are saying it and so forth. It becomes really very important because you are the driver, you're the person in the front seat, right? So having a communication platform is super, super important. Next thing what you can do, in that we finished tax season, is in terms of communication and having a meeting, is have a post-tax season debriefing and what's next, right? So you can use this time now to meet with your team and talk about what went well and areas for improvement. Yeah. So it's a meeting that's to talk about all that, and then the vision ahead. What are the firm goals? What are team member goals? How's each team member helping the firm in reaching the goals? And so this would be an opportune time to do that. Having a post-tax season debriefing, what went well, areas for improvement, create that environment. a comfortable environment, a safe environment where people can share what went well, what didn't go well. From that, you may have a second meeting, a second team meeting. Before that, maybe you have one-on-ones with people if you want to do a deeper dive into something. But this is essentially the role that you need to be playing here as the integrator. Because you don't play this role well, the integrator, these three areas are going to be average. They're going to be mediocre. And if you want these three areas to excel, then you've got to become a more effective integrator and a more effective visionary. It's doing the two. All right, hope this is making sense, guys. Kind of share something in the chat thing. What resonated with you with what I just said? How does it impact you? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you'll say, I do this already. I know this already. None of this makes sense. Whatever, it's fine. I've got a thick skin. Maybe it resonated with you. Maybe there is an idea that sparked in your head and saying, you know what? I didn't think about it this way. Or you know what? I can do it this way. You know, it's like reading a book, right? Any book, you can see my book, partial book collection here. Whenever I read a book a second or a third time, I'll always see things in something I missed, like many things I missed. What about watching a movie? I'm now, what I do is I rewatch some movies. I was like, man, that was a good movie. Why didn't I want to watch it again. And so same thing, right? Whenever you kind of hear an idea or read a book or watch a movie or be on a webinar like this and an idea is presented and you kind of see it and hear it in a different way than you may have before. All right. Joe saying, Michael said better hiring of staff. This was before there. Joe saying, identify that we need to hold monthly meetings with an agenda, and I'd make it even more frequent, Joe, weekly meetings. Monthly is a bit not as frequent. Too much changes in a month. Sonia saying, just have contractors, but looking at this information to use as I grow. Hey, you want to do this with your contractors? With CPA Marketing Genius, I've got virtual assistants and people in that capacity more than I do employees. And I had a team meeting this morning with my CPA Marketing Genius team. So it applies. Anyone who's on your team, you want to be meeting on a regular basis to get a pulse on what's going well, what's not, getting their ideas, getting them to share their ideas. And this is really an important point. If you leave your team to their own devices, they are going to settle down into their comfortable place. And their comfortable place is what? Come in, do their work, and leave. And that becomes their comfortable place. What's missing from that is their ideas, their contribution, their head contribution, innovation, how to do things better, or ideas to help a client. You've got people that are not going to be thinking, and you want people to be thinking, right? That's the biggest, best thing one of the best things they can give your organization is the ability to think and willingness to think. And if you don't call them out to it, they will be in their safe space, in their comfortable place. And I feel that's where what you want to be thinking about is get everyone to play the game at a higher level, because you'll get people that are going to start sharing their genius. They'll start sharing their genius. For too long, they have been in the status quo. And status quo is status quo. Status quo is gone become irrelevant, non-exist, not needed in the marketplace after a certain amount of time. That's what's happening with accounting practices. Yeah, a lot of accounting practices, they're like at the brink of like, hey, are you needed? And the marketplace is saying you're not all that much needed because of the pressuring you on fees. It's commoditization. It's like, what's different about what you're doing than this guy here or that guy here? And when that conversation is starting, the marketplace is not seeing you as different, as unique, as bringing value. And in order to bring value, you've got to have your team. You've got to be thinking from a value standpoint. Is this making sense, guys? Cool. All right, need to better document procedures to optimize workflow, need to implement better systems as the practice grows. Awesome, cool, wonderful. Yeah, just kind of be sharing your feedback, guys. Streamline operation is the second area. So if you want to grow your practice, scale your practice, like before we talk about client attraction, I'm going there in like 2 minutes. We need to take care of team. We need to have the right people in the bus, get the wrong people off the bus, and then get the right people in the right seats. We need to do that. Otherwise, you're going to bring in these clients, and if your team is not in place, your operation is not streamlined with documented systems and workflow and processes, then you're going to bring in clients and they're going to leave, right? So we got to take care of these two areas: building a team and then streamline operations. So I want to jump to, client attraction. And before I actually go there, very quickly, those of you who want to meet with me on a one-on-one, that's the resource I'm sharing with you here. And I need to go back to the last slide. Let me see if I can just quickly do that and share with you what that is, so that you'll have a few minutes to schedule a meeting if you wanted to go there. And this is what this meeting is about. If it's right for you, you'll know. People that I worked with, coaching members. And so it's helping practitioners to reinvent their practice in 3 areas: client attraction, building a championship team, and streamlining their operation. And so this is what the one-on-one strategy session is. Vision, we're going to look at what would be a great 12 months. What would that look like for you? Then we'll go into current reality, what's working, what is not. Third thing is we'll talk about obstacles. What's the sticking point? What's missing? And then we'll put an action plan together. 3 steps to get you quickly what you want. And then by the end of the meeting, you'll leave feeling confident and excited about your practice. So that's kind of what this is about. It's a one-on-one call, and this is the link. Let's see, let me see if I can copy and paste it to make it easy for you. Cool. And then I want to share some awesome stuff with you when it comes to client attraction. All right. Stick it in the chat thing. All right. You should have it, folks. If you're looking to, schedule some time, make it easy for you. You don't have to search for my email address or whatever. This is what we are going to be doing together. Yeah. Personal, custom tailored, one-on-one roadmap to reinvent strategy session with you and me. The time is now to work on your practice, and these are the months to be doing that. So if what I'm sharing here is resonating with you and you're like, man, I want to do something about it. I want to join. I want to be, I want to get on the other side. Then kind of take me up on my free offer here. And with that said, let us go to client attraction. All right, so 5 steps to marketing success. Very, 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 very important. Number 1 is the stuff at the bottom left, 5 steps. The picture of steps, 5 steps. Select a target market. Who's your ideal client? Know who your ideal client is, so that we can be intentional, deliberate about bringing those in. So find one that you enjoy working with. Don't bring jerks. as clients, because that will drain life out of you. So work with clients that you enjoy, you love, right? We have a choice. We have a choice of bringing clients that we enjoy, and we, boot out to clients that we don't enjoy. So target market, select the one that you love, and then solution is create a solution, the services that gives your client certainty of results, right? So let me I'll walk you through it, and then I'll do a deeper dive in a couple of these areas. So that's what the solution is, the services that you provide, right? Select the right market, bring the right target market, and then offer them in your messaging, in your marketing, offer them a solution that gives them certainty of results. And I'll talk about what certainty of results is. And then it gives them an opportunity to raise their hand and say, you know what, I like what you're saying here. I like the message. This is making sense. This is what I want. Then they reach out to your firm and said, hey, they want to have a meeting, a one-on-one meeting. And this is essentially your sales meeting, right? This is where you'll meet with them and you'll see if they're right for you or they're not. They'll do the same. And it's a strategy session. It's a conversion meeting, right? So you want to have a conversion meeting scripted so that it's got the right flow of information and you get what you need done without it being like a 2-month sales cycle, right? You make it a 1 or 2 meeting sales cycle. And then fourth, is you select a media, a way to reach these target market that enables you to make it scalable. So it doesn't require you a lot of one-on-one stuff, right? You create one-to-many marketing. Your marketing message, you create it once, you get it out to many. It's one-to-many marketing message, and that's what scalable is, right? And then next is create a time frame. You'll test this marketing strategy. You'll do this marketing strategy or this target market. You'll get your next 50 clients doing this, in a certain niche, or in a certain, whatever your target market is, essentially, that you'll do this for 6 months, or you reach 50 clients or 100 clients and so forth. So in a nutshell, this is kind of the big picture, and I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into a few of these areas. So the silver lining for 5% of the CPAs, a small percentage of practitioners, with the pandemic, what the pandemic has done is it's brought a new level of awareness to small business owners, right? The vast majority of businesses realized that they were in bare survival mode with weak balance sheets and low profits. And more than ever, they're ready to have a conversation about doing it in a different way. And so you want to incorporate CFO business advisory services to your services package. So you list out your services, what each does in terms of features, and you present it to your clients from a place of benefits. You've heard features and benefits, but you need to create a value package, a value service package that helps your client address the problems that are in their head. Survival, how are things going to look on the other side after the pandemic? How can they be positioned for success after through this process and after this process? And that's what that's the value package that you create, and you plug it in here in the solution. In the second thing here, in the second step here, that's your solution, giving your client certainty of results. I'm having conversations with an accounting firm in the Midwest currently, just learning from them. It's a new relationship, and we're mutually learning from each other. And these guys are a multi-million-dollar company. Their average accounting fees, they bring in clients that are $60,000 a year in accounting fees for 1 year. And so they're growing by like $1.5 million a year. I think they're at like 10 million now, but that's kind of their pace of growth. So we're kind of doing a deeper dive in just kind of what they're doing, and so it's for my own education, and then bringing it out to the CPA community as well. And so imagine a business hiring, and their sweet spot is, I think they said $4 million in revenues. They're very kind of scientific about it all, keeping track of exactly who they're bringing in, who they want to attract, the target market, and so forth. But that's the business that they are signing up is $60,000 in accounting fees. And the only reason people sign up for a service like that is because of what? The value that they get, right? It's a value proposition. And so they've got their solution that gives their prospective clients, their clients, certainty of results, right? So they've incorporated CFO services, and they're doing it all virtually. Just pretty amazing how they're going about with it. And so, example, Rogers, practitioner in Minnesota, fees, value packages, services, raised his fees $180,000 in new revenues 1 year. So it's going to have a pretty big impact on your top line, on your bottom line. So a few things when it comes to client attraction. Number one is a website that gets results, right? Conveying your identity, identity is what it should be. Conveying identity and brand. So you stand out from the crowd, right? So when it comes to messaging, you want to make sure that your website talks about, shares, presents you as different, as unique. And of course, you want the back end stuff, along those lines. You can't say, yep, I'm number one and very different and we do things in a very different way. But then when it comes down to providing the service, it's like as ordinary as it is. And so that's why the team is important, right? The team helps you with innovation and giving ideas and so forth. But so the website is one that you want to pay attention to in terms of messaging for effective marketing. Second is social media, what to do on LinkedIn. Make sure you've got your contact information there. Using keywords in your profile, build a strong profile, reaching out to prospects, cross-publish your blog posts, share news and announcements, like a whole bunch of stuff that you want to be doing on social media, posting photos, giving and getting recommendation, join your target markets group, create a group for your target market. A very effective way of connecting with your prospective clients is LinkedIn and social media. Yeah, social media posts that you can execute now, just different ideas on what you can be writing about, communicating, sharing. So it's a great example of one-to-many. Create a post, put it out there. Your ideal target market, prospective client sees it, engages with it, wants to take that next step, right? So that's kind of all examples of content marketing. I've used that word in before, or education-based marketing, creating content, getting it out there, the right people finding you and seeking you out. And you want to get prolific about that, about getting that, and that's what media is, right? Making it scalable. All right, we are kind of drawing towards the end. What's your biggest takeaway? What's been good for you? What are one or two ideas that you're walking away from this? Take a moment, share that in the chat pane. Those of you who are scheduling your strategy session, I'm looking forward to connecting with you. Lots of success stories, case studies, transformations of people that have, it starts with a strategy session. It's a one-on-one call. We talk about where do you want to be 12 months from now? And how are things now? So we kind of get an assessment of where are you at? Where do you want to go? Where are you at now? What's getting in your way? And then we put an action plan together, and you'll have a plan, whether use it on your own or have me help you, coach you through that process. Either way works, but it starts with a strategy session. All right, so a few comments coming in. Take a moment, folks, to do that. Adriana says, need to focus on the ideal target market and going after them. Wonderful. Sonia says, examples that have examples that have changed their situation. Awesome. Cool. Who else? What else? What's been impactful for you before we finish off, folks, in like a minute? One or two things that, ideas that you got from this. What's the first thing, the most important thing you want to pay attention to? What's next for you? Michael says the genius model. Cool. And Michael, if you were to pick one area, one practice accelerator from the genius model, what would that be? For Adriano, he says target market. So identifying your target market in terms of demographics and psychographics. Streamlined operation. Awesome. Cool. All right, folks, I want to be respectful for everyone's time. It's a minute past the hour. Hope you got a lot from our time together. I enjoyed it, giving you my best, some of my best in the amount of time we had. And yeah, have a great rest of the week. And we are in Tuesday. So yeah, have a great rest of the week ahead. And yeah, if you're scheduled a one-on-one, looking forward to chatting with you and learning more about you and the plan. So cool. With that, we'll say adios, folks. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you.